has nothing to do with all of these other external factors, whether or not you have a higher return than your neighbor or you've beaten the index. This is all irrelevant if you've set a goal and achieved it. Hey, this is Chris, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I think makes a successful investor. Now, I think a lot of people out there think that successful investing is about making as much money as possible or making a higher return than other people or beating an index or something like that. Really, my definition of a successful investor is a bit different to that. I think success comes from knowing what you want to achieve from investing and achieving those things. And really, it has nothing to do with all of these other external factors, whether or not you have a higher return than your neighbor or you've beaten the index. This is all irrelevant if you've set a goal and achieved it. So I think in order to achieve your goals when investing, there are a few things you need to get right. So first of all, you want to define those goals. And then you need to be able to set a strategy that's going to give you the best possible chances of reaching those goals. And I think there are three things that I think everyone can focus on that are actually within your control that are going to give you the most chance of success of reaching those goals and therefore becoming a successful investor. And those are, first of all, diversification. So diversification, spreading your money across different assets, countries, sectors. What that does is it helps to reduce the risk of a catastrophic loss, losing all of your money or losing a big chunk of your money on a particular investment. And that really helps reduce the chance that you're not going to achieve your goals. And we know that out of all of the investments out there in the universe, there's only a small number that actually drive the overall market return, something like 4 to 6% of all companies. So diversification really helps to ensure that you own those winning companies that help to generate those long-term returns and avoid the potential of not actually achieving a great long-term return. So diversification one. The next one for me is keeping your costs low. So we know that costs are the enemy of investors because the more you pay, the more that comes out of your return, and therefore the lower return you're getting, and that compounding impact is compounding a lower return year after year after year. So another way to give yourself a better chance of reaching your goals is to make sure that the money that you're paying away for your investments is not that high. And this is particularly important at the moment in a world where returns are already pretty low, because if you're paying 1 or 2% a year, that's money that's coming out of your return and might mean that instead of earning a 5 or 6% a return per year, you might only be earning 3 or 4%. So keeping your costs low. And then the final one, which I think is probably the most important of all, is really having the discipline to do nothing most of the time, and really understanding your own tendencies and your own behavior. Because really, when it comes to success as an investor, the biggest driver of success is you and your ability to not only set a strategy that's right, but follow it. So ignoring those temptations that are always coming up in markets. When things are overheated, there's the temptation to take more risk. When markets are falling, or when there's word of a recession on the news, there's always the temptation to pull that money out. But actually, the ability to once you're in a strategy that's right for your time horizon and risk capacity, just sit on your hands and do nothing. That's really what's going to define your success as a long-term investor and give you that best chance of setting the goal that you want to achieve and achieving that goal. And so overall, I think what makes a successful investor is someone that is clear and understands what their goals are, and then sets an appropriate strategy for reaching those goals, and then has the discipline to continue to follow that strategy so they can achieve those goals.